Hey everyone, my name is Sydney Volmer. I'm the head of brand and communications here at the Cardano Foundation, and I'm sitting in a forest for very particular reasons, obviously, that we'll get to in a moment. At the end of this video, we have a Cardano Impact Challenge, or a Global Impact Challenge, I should say, to mention. So please hang on and check that out. With me today from Vancouver, very early in the morning for him, is Derek Emsley, the CEO of Veritree. Derek, how many trees have you planted the past 16 years, and why?
Yeah, we've planted just about 65 million trees over the last, 15 or 16 years. It's been a wild journey for us. It started back when I was in high school, and the idea of planting trees was to sell carbon offsets. And we planted over 150,000 trees on farmland in outside of our hometown that really couldn't grow much of anything else. And the idea was to help businesses that were looking forward at this idea of Kyoto Protocol and carbon offsetting, and they needed to figure out a way to offset their emissions, and they didn't know how. And being, kids in high school, we thought, well, trees seem like a good opportunity to do that. And from there, it just sparked this sort of desire to continue to plant trees and create a business model that allowed us to plant as many trees as possible. The company that we started in high school just proved to not really be viable long term because it was based on this government program and ultimately handouts. And so for us, what we did was we left that experience and we said, we want to plant trees, but we don't want to build anything that's based on handouts. We want to build a business model that funds the planting of trees and proves that we can create business that is actually focused on giving back to the planet. And that's what led us to create Tentree. And Tentree's been the vehicle that has allowed us to plant just about 65 million trees to date.
And if I have my notes here correctly, it's you guys have been selling over 2 million units of apparel annually, and as a result, leading to the planting of over 20 million trees per year. So congratulations on that. But there was one problem that you guys had, right, with this. As you were scaling, you had a difficulty with the auditing of it all. Can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, the business, fortunately for us, grew quite quickly. We went from planting, 150,000 trees in a year to a million trees in a year to 4 million trees in a year. And what we were seeing was that the business model was scaling quickly and there was incredible consumer interest in what we were building. But ultimately, what we were having trouble with was actually scaling the planting side of things. And it wasn't just about scaling the getting the trees in the ground. It was about scaling our ability to audit and verify the claims that we were making to our consumers. We had this interesting problem where, our mission at Tentree is to plant 10 trees for every item of clothing that we sell. And so, where some organizations donate a percentage of profits or sort of a percentage of this or that, we kind of put ourselves in this fallible position that said, we're claiming that 10 trees are being planted for every item we sell. And in order to stand up and live up to that claim, we really needed to do the work on our end to make sure that what we were saying was happening was actually happening. And we were having an incredibly tough time with this. We were spending millions of dollars every year planting trees. And, in addition to that, hundreds of thousands of dollars and time and resources traveling to these sites, visiting the projects, auditing the progress. Because frankly, we've worked with, I would consider, some of the best reforestation organizations across the globe. And we were lucky if we got more than a GPS coordinate, a polygon, and maybe a Google photo album that you could see was shared to, a number of different other organizations and an invoice. And so what we knew was that we needed to invest in the auditing of and verification of our own tree planting if our model was going to be scalable long term.
Yeah, just so for our audience, you guys started with Tentree, the apparel company, which was not an apparel company, it was a tree planting company using apparel as an alibi, which led to the creation of Veritree, and that is the company that you guys are now running full time or next to full time, delivering tree planting as a service, if I understand that correctly. Now, a recent article I read about the climate crisis said that all is not lost. And that resonated with me a lot because I can feel a bit helpless when I see the images of the forest fires and the floods and everything. So first, tell me, Is that true? And then assuming it is, can you then please tell me what you guys mean if you speak about it, making a transition from doing less bad to more good? How does that work?
Yeah, the reality is that saving the planet is hard. It's going to be hard. We've got ourselves into a position, and the IPCC report that you alluded to is an example of those different futures that we have based on the current sort of profile of our economies and globally how much carbon we're emitting. It's going to be a really challenging process over the next 20 or 30 years to save the planet. And the reality is that as an individual, it's easy to feel disempowered by the messaging that's out there. On the one hand, it can either be guilt driven and saying you're not doing enough or you should do more, or on the other hand, it can be sort of big, distant, abstract, talking about forest fires or ice caps melting, and individually it's almost impossible to feel like anything you do can actually have a meaningful impact. And for us, our approach has always been to showcase the power of the individual, because we're doing it first through an apparel business, and you said it right, like we're a tree planting company that uses apparel as a vehicle. And really for us, we're showing that when you use business as a vehicle to create change, and you sort of throw this idea out that for some reason we've all collectively accepted, which is, let's just stop doing as much bad. Let's just do less bad this year than last year. And you throw that idea out the window and you say, what if we actually did good? What if we used our business as a vehicle to have as little negative impact as possible, in fact, have no negative impact, but actually create a positive impact? And I think to us, both at Veritree and at Tentree, that's the future that we're trying to create.
And if I understand that correctly, and again, checking my notes here quickly, is you guys want to be about removing friction, right? You want to be making the saving of the planet as simple and easy as possible, where Veritree helps provide an easy way for individuals and businesses to integrate tree planting into their day-to-day lives. Our goal has always been to plant 1 billion trees, but we don't need to sell 100 million products to do it. So we want to be doing, you guys are going to be doing other sorts of integrations and other sorts of products and services, right? Can you explain that a little bit to me?
Yeah, so if you go back to really the point that you made earlier, which was we couldn't scale our auditing and verification efforts to keep up with the tree planting that we were trying to do. What we realized was we needed to build the platform to do it. There was nothing out there, no organization we worked with could actually figure out a way to gather ground level data and communicate it to the individuals that were actually sponsoring those projects in an impactful way. There's so many problems with nature-based solutions that that people are trying to tackle, and tree planting shares a lot of those. Things like additionality, things like permanence, things like double counting are all major issues. And so for us, our approach to solving this issue was the creation of Veritree. And now what we've quickly realized was that the implications of Veritree are significantly greater than just being used by Tentree. Veritree has the opportunity to provide this seamless plug and play, you called it tree planting as a service, opportunity to organizations, individuals, businesses all across the globe to actually transition to a restorative business and offer their consumers and the supporters of their business or their brand the opportunity to see that business showcase their commitment to our planet.
And just to make that a little bit more concrete in terms of numbers, right? What kind of numbers are we talking about? How many trees are you on course to plant over the next, let's say, a little over a year, the end of next year? How many trees do you think you plant for businesses and individuals?
So our goal is that within the next couple years here, that we're going to be running as much as 500 million trees annually through our platform. And what we've built is the platform to make it frictionless for restoration organizations to utilize our system and create a data layer and transparency from the ground. And we've made it frictionless for individuals and businesses to access those projects, access the projects that are doing good work in the best possible way.
And I guess this brings us to our great partnership announcement, and not a moment too soon, I should say, because fun fact, it's started raining here a little bit, so we'll just have to see how long this lovely computer of mine will survive. But yeah, the best bit of this all is about the partnership that we're going to be doing. About you know about Cardano, at least somewhat, that we have as an aim to become the social and financial infrastructure of the future. And I guess it's not a big surprise that we'll be bringing that to life a little bit more in how we're gonna work together. Can you explain a little bit, maybe first before we get into the partnership, about the holistic approach that you have when it comes to both planting the trees and helping the local communities, because that will make our partnership make more sense when we talk about that in a moment, I think.
Yeah, I think this is so important. The reality is that tree planting, in my opinion, is one of the most tangible, meaningful, and impactful missions that we have out there today to help heal our planet. And there's a number of reasons for that. Not only does tree planting help restore the environment and the ecosystems and habitats around it, it actually provides communities with opportunities for job creation, for food security when you're planting fruit trees, to provide opportunity for people to lift themselves out of poverty and educate them on why deforestation has often led them to the position they're in. Because the reality is that deforestation and the need for reforestation is one of the more complex issues out there today. And a lot of people can see these images and think, well, this is the reason or that's the reason. But really, at the heart of it, the issue behind deforestation is poverty. People are trying to feed their families. They're trying to make sure that they can, provide shelter and firewood. And so they're cutting down trees to make room for farming, to, provide the bare necessities for their family. And what they don't recognize is that this creates this spiral where deforestation leads to soil erosion, leads to animals leaving, leads to worse crop yields year after year after year, leading them into further poverty. And it creates this cycle of poverty that people can't get out of. And there's different stories around this, whether it be in Senegal, Madagascar, Malawi, Nepal, Indonesia, Haiti, all these different areas that we've planted. Tree planting can have such a fundamental impact on the livelihoods of not just the ecosystem, but actually the people within it, when done correctly.
So, Derek, being the social and financial infrastructure of the world means being a blockchain for good. That is what we aim to be doing. And to me, what you guys are doing is a superb example of what democratizing restorative measures can become for the rest of the world, and especially once powered by blockchain technology, make it scalable, make it auditable for everyone. So I can't tell you how happy I am. I'm genuinely happy and excited about the fact that we will be working together, and that all the tree planting that you guys are going to be doing will be logged on Cardano's blockchain. For everyone watching at the Cardano Summit currently, how is all of this going to start? What's the first thing we're going to be doing together?
Yeah, I mean, we're so excited for this because ultimately the technology to build what we're creating with Veritree didn't exist a decade ago. And we really believe that tree planting is such a critical part of the broader climate change solution. It's not a silver bullet, but when done correctly, can have such a fundamental impact on both the livelihoods of the people on the ground as well as the planet. And really what we're excited about here is that we're going to be working with Cardano over the course of the next sort of year to basically roll out a program where we're going to be first accepting ADA to plant trees, and then we're going to be continuing to integrate at different touch points the opportunity for individuals across the entire sort of platform to commit and contribute to reforestation efforts, tangible, transparent, auditable reforestation efforts all across the globe.
and that's what's a really really exciting um, opportunity for all of us to be a part of as a Cardano community. And in fact, we so like this, and we are so happy about this, that we decided to come up with the first global Cardano Impact Challenge. And what that means is basically the following: we want everyone who's watching now, everyone at home, wherever you live, wherever you lay your head, to donate a little bit of ADA to these guys, to Derek and Veritree, because we want to be planting 1 million trees. And why 1 million? Because it's a super big number. It's not as big as the number as Veritree has been doing before, but it's still a big number. But it's also going to offset all our carbon emissions, not once, not twice, but 50 times over, if not more. And in so doing, we'll show the rest of the world that we're really a blockchain for the greater good. We'll show the rest of the world that it becomes easier and easier to heal the planet and do it in such a way that others can copy the successes and do something similar. And basically what it means, this impact challenge, is whoever donates 1 ADA to you guys, and please Derek, correct me if I have my particulars wrong here. Whoever donates 1, 10, 50, 100 ADA to you guys will see that being translated into trees planted. So 1 ADA equals 1 tree. You can give however many ADA you want to be giving. We want to push it to 1 million. And the moment you guys are planting those trees early next year is the moment that whoever has been giving you ADA to donate trees will receive a certificate of plantation or a proof of reforestation, maybe instead of a proof of stake, proof of work, proof of land restoration, whatever. Anyway, they'll get a tree planting certificate with on that certificate how many ADA they've been donating, what trees have been planted, where they're going to be planted, by whom. Am I missing something then there? Is that the complete donation mechanic?
No, you said it right. Ultimately, we're going to be doing 1 ADA for 1 tree planted. And those trees are going to be getting in the ground at the early part of next year. And upon actual planting of those, that ground level information from the planting site is going to be woven through the Veritree platform and attached directly to those trees that are being planted on the Cardano blockchain. And then really what we're excited about here is, to us, this is, the very first sort of ground level example of what we're kind of coining the word as an ITO. It's the first initial tree offering. And through this, with the different sort of levels of tree planting, we're going to be able to issue NF trees as well, because through this, your contribution will be solidified on the blockchain forever, and you'll be able to see the impact that you have across the globe and know that it was done in an auditable, verifiable way with projects that are actually having the intended good, are additional, permanent, and real.
That's I'm very happy, and congratulations on doing this and with us. I'm very excited about this. So what else can I say apart from ladies and gentlemen, please go to veritree.com/ITO. Start donating ADA. The more the better, and we will have some pretty cool features on that website to make it more worth your while to do it. One or two statistics that I wanted to put in front of you and verify quickly. We're probably going to be planting mangrove trees, right? Because mangrove trees sequester 5 times as much CO2 as a jungle forest does.
That's right. Mangrove trees are probably the species that we're going to be focusing on for this sort of initial partnership. And there's a number of reasons for it. One being, to your point, that they're incredibly proficient at sucking carbon out of the atmosphere. But two, they actually are an incredible habitat restoration tree. Oftentimes in areas like Madagascar, Indonesia, even Kenya, mangrove trees protect the coastal villages from inclement weather, and they also serve as an incredibly important habitat for fishing ecosystems. And so what we'll see is, over the next 5-10 years, as these mangrove trees and this mangrove estuaries continue to grow up, is it's going to help restore fishing ecosystems, and it's going to create industry as well for these communities that frankly are lacking it right now and need that support.
It's a terrific thing to look forward to. The world's first Cardano forest, hopefully to be planted soon, and giving everyone an opportunity to contribute to healing this planet. Um, as a sort of a final gesture, to mark this occasion, Derek, as we don't have any audience to start clapping for whenever we say something cool, or I wanted to show you that after this recording, I'm gonna be planting 3 apple trees. So I have three tiny apple seeds, which are a local species, mind you, and I'll be planting them somewhere here in the forest, and hopefully someday we'll be able to come back to it. And in the meantime, I will send it to you, and you will put it on the Veritree Cardano integrated blockchain, will you?
Deal. You got it.
All right, all right. Well, with that having said, thank you guys so much. Please go to veritree.com/ITO and start donating ADA, and be part of this major global impact challenge. And thank you for being with us, Derek, this morning.
Thanks, Cindy, and appreciate everything that your team's doing to help make this a reality. These, to me, million trees is just the beginning. We can plant significantly more, and we're just getting started, and the impact these trees are going to have is going to be pretty incredible. So thank you so much for having us.
You're very welcome, and we're delighted, as I mentioned before. But now that you mentioned this, we do in fact have a couple of more cool things in store for other big brands and celebrities out there that we're in talks with. So I might even say, hey Nike, if you want to ante up the game to Patagonia's efforts, then you can give us a call, and otherwise we'll call you guys. So with that being said, thank you so much, Derek, and we'll be in touch soon.
Great. Thanks, Sydney.
Bye. All right, so guys, here we go. This should be a nice vista on the 2 different socks I have on. See that? That's the thing that my daughter made me do. But it's not about the socks, it's about planting trees. So here we are, trying to get some mulch out of the ground. Do this, maybe add some nice little music over this so don't make it too awkward. And here is one little. Here we go. Teensy tiny. How big are your trees, Derek, when you plant them? Are they this small or are they slightly bigger?
They're a little bit bigger than that.